work towards de-escalation.
Post-convention jump.
The campaign saying it's broken fundraising records.
And battling mosquitoes.
Every day I will come home with at least 4 or 5 bites.
Good morning, I'm Tammy McCormick with the CBS World News Roundup. It was an anxious weekend in the Middle East after Israel traded fire with Hezbollah in Lebanon. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
We have been concerned about the conflict escalating into an all-out regional war since October 7th, and we have worked round the clock to avert that outcome.
CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb in Tel Aviv has more on the cross-border escalation.
An army spokesman said thousands of Hezbollah rocket launcher barrels in more than 40 sites were targeted, killing at least 6 of the Iran-backed group's fighters. Just hours later, Israel's sophisticated missile defense system intercepted over 300 rockets, as well as military drones launched by Hezbollah into Israeli territory. A naval vessel belonging to Israel in the eastern Mediterranean suffered damage, killing at least 1 soldier. Hezbollah said its strikes were in retaliation for the assassination of a top commander in Beirut last month. In a televised address last night, the group's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, said the reason the strike was delayed was, in part, because of the mass mobilization of Israeli and U.S. forces in the region. Dahlia Scheinman is a political analyst and author.
Both sides are still trying to keep this semi-containment, but they both know that they are playing with fire.
Now that the Democratic convention is over, the campaigning revs up again in the presidential race. CBS's Linda Kenyon reports Kamala Harris's campaign says she's raised $540 million since she entered the race.
New York Democratic Congressman Pat Ryan says the Harris campaign has been enjoying a surge of support.
When Kamala Harris talks about freedom, patriotism, reproductive freedom, economic freedom, freedom to breathe clean air and water, that is what folks, regardless of party, they want to believe in something.
Ryan spoke on CBS's Face the Nation. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham predicted enthusiasm for Harris will soon die down.
If you're waiting on Kamala Harris to come up with a new policy, you're going to die waiting.
Graham was interviewed on CNN's State of the Union.
Donald Trump was at Arlington National Cemetery this morning. He laid a wreath to mark 3 years since 13 American service members died in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. There are still residual delays in Seattle after the airport there suffered a cyber attack over the weekend. Online check-ins and baggage were most affected. Lance Little is managing director of aviation.
This has impacted internet access to some of the airport systems, including our ability to send and receive data.
The Russian-born founder of Telegram is being held in France for questioning over alleged offenses related to the messaging app. Holly Williams has that.
Pavel Durov was apparently arrested at Le Bourget Airport just outside Paris shortly after touching down in his private jet. Durov is reportedly accused of failing to take action to stop the criminal use of his platform. Now, the Telegram app is encrypted, meaning that governments cannot censor or regulate it. Telegram's been criticized for allowing organized crime, terrorists, and far-right extremists to use the app.
New York's health department has announced it will begin dusk-to-dawn spraying in the city over concerns about West Nile virus. In Massachusetts, at least 8 towns are considered at high risk. Bob Bishop lives in Plymouth.
Now they're closing parks from dusk to dawn, and it's going to affect the kids' sports and everything. I really don't think it's that big of a deal and kind of an overreaction.
We learned over the weekend that Dr. Anthony Fauci was hospitalized with West Nile. Fauci is 83. He's at home now recovering. 4 minutes past the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. Right now, it's 58 degrees in Walnut Creek, California.